This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stockbox interview. Paul Johnson, the CEO of Power Metal Resources, joins us today on Stockbox. Now, Paul, you've announced another acquisition, Garfield and Stonewall Gold Copper in Nevada, USA. So you're still taking on new projects. It feels like you're not stopping with portfolio building. And just seeing some comments from investors, I wonder if you can make the message clear. What is it that you're up to with Power Metal Resources?
That's a good question. It's different, isn't it? It's not what you see out there today in the market, where companies have one or two projects and they push them forward, and generally speaking, most of them fail. No, I got to build a big business. The personal shareholding I have, which is the largest shareholding in the business at the moment, is something I want to see rise in value quite dramatically. I don't want to take the risk of building a weak business. So we're going for scale, and we're going for diversified operations. And we're building a global business model from a small junior resource base in London. And we're doing it cutely, if that's the right phrase. We're not doing it with dramatic acquisitions of multi-million pound value, which can destroy core initial shareholder value. We're doing it one step at a time, and we're announcing those steps to market. I don't think it's a bad way of approaching things to do it piece by piece.
So you say one small step at a time. Nevada is clearly one of those small steps. How does it fit in then with the vision?
Okay, so if you look at Nevada, a short while ago, Power Metal set up a new 100% subsidiary, Golden Metal Resources Limited, a private UK company. Right now, that UK company owns three interests in Nevada, focused principally on gold, but some copper gold as well. The Golconda Summit Gold property was the first acquisition we announced a short while ago. And then we've bolted on the Garfield project and the Stonewall project as well, acquisitions from Sunrise Resources. So we now have a trio of projects in this vehicle, which is focused on precious base metal exploration in Nevada in the US. So an extremely strong business model now in its own right in golden metal, 100% owned by POW. But only one part of our business. And it's, one could say, 1/4 of our North American business operations. And we do, because as you know, we have other interests in North America.
Mm-hmm. And this trio of operations then, we've spoken about this spin-out model before. You talked about the bigger vision of the business. This trio of operations, will that be then put into its own vehicle, its own management team put in place, and it become a business in its own right, owned by Power Metal Resources?
Right, so that's a good point. If we take our standard approach in the business, we make some acquisitions, we build something. So we built Golden Metal Resources, focused on Nevada. Next step almost always is exploration work. So do some exploration work and move the project forward so that we understand it better. And we can develop a pathway for it in the future, whether that's internal exploration and development, or whether that's spin out into own vehicle or joint venture partnership with somebody else to move the project package forward. So we're going to do the exploration first, announce the programs and the findings to market, and then decide on the strategy for that vehicle. But remember, that's just one of our project packages in North America, and North America is joined by Africa and Australia in the business as a whole.
And just focusing then on North America, what is the bigger picture with North America? Just remind everyone what you've got there and what's going to happen.
Okay, well, 2 years ago, of course, we had nothing in North America. We were focused with three interests in Western Central Africa, in Ivory Coast, DRC, and Cameroon. And our business has moved on at pace. We engaged first in North America back in December 2019, where we took on the Alamo Gold project in Arizona, which is an early stage exploration project that we're working on in the background in Arizona, USA. We've just talked about Nevada, USA with Golden Metal Resources, the new vehicle that we've created very recently and built very rapidly. And Power also has a 30% interest in the Silver Peak project, which is a high-grade former working silver mine that we're doing work on, and there will be exploration and corporate work in relation to that that will be announced in due course, including, of course, the spin-out of that interest into its own listed vehicle. And then we have the Hemlo Schreiber package in Ontario, which is a 7-project package that we acquired in the first quarter of 2021 in one go in a kind of slam dunk 2-stage transaction. And we have a huge array of targets across those properties with some fantastic neighbours doing extensive exploration work. So we have a good mix of interest in North America. We have the kind of starting point for a major North American business with some quite considerable internal exploration and potentially externally held interests through the spin-outs.
Can you give us any idea of timeline in terms of either exploration or the spin-out model, putting a management team in place, just to give people an idea of how it's going to develop?
It's coming over the next few months. I've been in lots of discussions with various parties. When you do a spin out, you need to bring in lawyers or corporate advisors to help you with the spin out process, to do the prospectus or admission document, call it what you will. You need to bring in accountants, reporting accountants to do working capital forecasts. You bring in technical experts to do competent persons reports. You have to set up all your managerial teams. So you need a board, of course. We want independent boards. We want fresh people to can run these operations and run them very, very well. You need to think about financing strategies and brokers and how you're going to finance these vehicles independently. So you want them to be able to raise their own money and push the business forward. They need to have strategic and operational plans. They need to have the right asset mix and so on. So we're working on that at this moment in time. We've got a great team in POW. I think these spin-outs that we do are going to be fantastic. I am completely biased, Mark, but I think, if we're able to push ahead with internal district scale exploration and find some major metal deposits, we combine that with some really good, well-constructed corporate spin-outs that create considerable value on our balance sheet and increase our financial strength, and we have a scale size approach to life in terms of how we build our business strategically. I think we're in with a great shot of building one of the best, if not the best, growth companies in the natural resource sector in London, and that is my aim.
Paul Johnson, the CEO of Power Metal Resources, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.